Oh, hello there, and welcome back to what is supposed to be my weekly behind-the-scenes vlogs for Patreon users. Hello, Pud. What's up? Okay, cat. For Patreons and Twitch subs and Floatplane subscribers and etc. I just got back from LTX yesterday. We lost an entire day for travel out there and back, especially with the time difference coming back since they're 3 hours behind us. We not only had 6.5 hours of flying, but also a 3-hour loss from the time difference. So we arrived at my house at like 12:30 a.m. last night. And then my wife had to go straight to work this morning. That was unfortunate. But I wanted to go ahead and record my thoughts on LTX because I won't really be able to make a formal LTX recap video or anything like that. I honestly didn't really take any video at the event. I haven't dumped it yet, and so I may include some of it here. I walked around a little bit with my DJI Osmo Pocket, got some video on the show floor, but like I didn't get any specific video of any specific things because I was there to meet people and enjoy my time, and it didn't really, I was under no obligation to make a video, so I didn't really see the point. I don't know. I figured, it was covered everywhere, and they were live streaming the panels, the float plane, and things like that. Once they are up, I will link the float plane panels in the description. Obviously, you have to be a float plane subscriber to have access to them, but I do want people to be able to see my panel, if possible. I may even request the ability to post it to my float plane, at least. But since I won't really be getting my thoughts out there in a formal video in all likelihood, I wanted to share some of my thoughts before the post-event depression kicks in and I realize it's over and we're not going back. But I went to Canada, Vancouver, for LTX 2019 this past weekend, and it was by far probably the best work or YouTube-related event that I have ever gone to. And granted, I haven't gone to that many, but of the DreamHacks and the Intel events and the IEMs and the GameCon we went to that one time and things like that, like this was the best experience I had, even if admittedly there wasn't a ton for me to directly do on the show floor. And I got a couple complaints from people about that, like they were like, yeah, but there wasn't a ton to actually do if you weren't interested in just like people watching and saying hi to people. But it was really freaking awesome. We got there at midnight pretty much on that Friday night, and no, it was at 9:30. It was midnight my time. So we got there about 9:30 p.m. that time, and Wendell from Level 1 Techs and his wife were gracious enough to pick us up from the airport and drive us back to our hotel, and then we actually got to do a late night tour of the LMG offices and their studio sets and stuff, and oh man. So again, I didn't take any video of this, and the lights were mostly off and things like that because it wasn't one of the formal Linus-led tours, but like I knew they had a big space. And I've seen, I've stalked all of their moving vlogs and all of that kind of behind-the-scenes stuff. And so I thought I knew, like, what I was getting into with that studio tour. I expected it to be just kind of like, yeah, whatever. They have a lot more space than I realized. Like, they have so much space, and they're already at capacity because they keep hiring people and keep utilizing the space. But, like, it is... I would say that it looks like the space out of my dreams. However, like, I don't think I could utilize that much space for myself with the way I'm doing things at the moment. Hold on, my cat is digging in a box somewhere. Hopefully it's not something I need. But yeah, like, I don't think I could use that much space. I would want, like, a fraction of that space. But they have, I believe, 5 units of the offices at this point. And I got to see, they have a ton of actual offices that they've moved around and shuffled around. They have multiple video sets, and they have enough angles of video sets that there were a couple video sets that are the same set that I didn't realize, and they just kind of are able to flip the camera around so much that it looks like 2 completely disconnected sets, which was kind of cool. They've got, I don't know, it's just so much space, so much stuff. They have shelves and shelves of just props for stuff that you don't even think about on top of all of the B-roll gear, the camera gear. They had red camera batteries that probably cost more than most things I own alone. An entire green screen set, like, it's pretty ridiculous. The editing den was pretty cool to walk through, see everyone's editing stations and Taryn's own office at this point, basically. Lots of really cool stuff there. And then went back to the hotel, and day one of the event was pretty jam-packed. Admittedly, I didn't really process how many people were going to be there. I believe they sold 3,000 tickets. I don't know if that's how many people were there, and obviously it's not an attendance count of how many were there at one time, but I believe I was told they sold 3,000 tickets for the event, which admittedly, when you think about it as someone who regularly thinks about counts of people, like subscriber counts, 3,000 is like a good amount, but it doesn't sound like a ton of people. Like you think a football game probably has a lot more. So we went in for the opening ceremony. I figured I'd just kind of hang out for it. And the entire seating area in front of the stage was already full. So we sat at some of the tables in the back, and within 5 minutes, the entire floor was flooded, and we were just surrounded. And admittedly, I had like some struggles with this because I don't like huge crowds a whole heck of a lot. And suddenly I went from like sitting in the back of the crowd to being surrounded by crowds with no way to escape. So that was pretty bonkers. It was packed. It was jam-packed. Honestly, like it got to the point that they didn't have enough space for the people that they sold tickets for, despite the fact that they had so much more space than last time. Like they're going to need a bigger venue already for next year's event, and that's just bonkers. But we ended up, what did we have? We had the opening ceremonies, and then I had a couple meetings with company contacts, just kind of say hi, get some FaceTime with people I've worked with online but haven't really chatted with in person yet. That was really cool to finally put some names to faces or faces to names or what have you. And then we had our meet and greet. That was fun. Got to see some of you all, get some cool selfies in front of the little LTX banner and things like that. Saw some of you all came out and said hi. Even one of our channel members, our actual paid channel members, Reedith, came out, and we ended up seeing him and his partner multiple times, including at Subway on the second day. Like they were everywhere. And that was pretty fun. And then I snuck out and ran over to the panel, and I ended up doing a panel on stage in front of at least 500, if not 1,000. I don't know how many like seats they had, but that was way bigger of a crowd than I was expecting, with Linus and Scotty from Strange Parts about running YouTube as a business, the early years. And so that was really fun. Got to heckle Linus a little bit and talk about, business strategies and our early struggles and things like that. And learned a lot myself, on top of the fact that we got to share and talk and things like that. And it was a lot of fun. And then I recorded a video with Steve from Gamers Nexus. I don't think it's up yet, but it should be up soon because they're posting them pretty quickly, about what you're doing wrong with live streaming. And that was pretty much it for day one. We ended up going out to dinner with everybody, and our dinner group got kind of separated and pretty crazy. But I got to have dinner, talk business with Linus and their team the whole time. Got to hang out with A Prime, one of the editors for LMG, and cause some trouble. We still Lucky the Dragon for a little bit. That was fun. And day two, I didn't have any actual obligations, and so we hung out for a little bit. I toured the floor, got selfies with as many creators as I could. I took something that I was getting signed, which I actually have a full dedicated video, well, sort of dedicated video talking about, that will be separate. Got signatures from as many people as I could, and realized I wasn't getting selfies with any of the creators, so anybody I saw that day, I was getting selfies with. And then my wife and I actually went out to do the Fly Over Canada. It was like a little virtual flying tour thing. It was okay. It was fun, but it felt really short, and I was sitting there like nitpicking the resolution of the projection and things like that. But it was fun to do a touristy thing. And we hung out. I watched Alex Low Specs Gamers panel and hung out with Barnacles and Wendell for a little bit, talked tech and stuff like that. That was fun. Watched Science Studio edit his video that he had live before I got to the hotel after the show was over. He edited that quickly. We got to do a celebrity case toss. So they had all of the booths at the event. Instead of just being like, hey, we have some stuff, buy our stuff, everything was turned into like carnival games. And so there was like, MSI had a little Nerf gun shootout. There was a case toss. PC building seminars, things like that. And so there was a case toss, and the first day you were just tossing raw cases, but day two they had them all shrink wrapped and taped up. And I don't know if it's because they were that destroyed by that point, or if they were like genuinely having pieces fly off and hurting people, but they were all old Cheese Grater Mac Pro cases. And so we got to do that with a guy with the Chronos slow-mo cam, and got to do that at 1,000 frames per second. Pretty cool. Hopefully I'll be able to show you the footage soon. I don't actually have it in hand at the moment, but once I get that sent over, I will probably tweet it out and stuff. That was pretty cool. And watched the closing ceremonies, got to catch a little bit of the WAN show live. And that was pretty much it. Wife and I spent the rest of the time going on the little sea walk through Vancouver, taking lots of really cool pictures and just enjoying the scenery, hanging out in Stanley Park. It was a blast. Like I said, I got to meet so many creators. I got to really feel like I was part of something bigger, get some FaceTime in, hopefully set up some collabs in the future. And really, like, everyone was so nice. Like, even people who I haven't had, like, the best online relationships with, like, no one felt... I always worry about with these things, especially since I'm still a smaller channel, that like people are going to brush me off or, you know, not have any interest in me or anything like that. And for the most part, everybody knew who, like creator wise, knew who I was to some degree and was totally cool and nice with me. And like no one was a dick basically, which people shared varying experience of that. But like everyone was nice, and it was so great getting to chat with everybody and meet other creators and either talk tech topics or business or stuff like that, and just see it all and seeing everybody in the BYOC area like doing their LAN party stuff. I don't know. It was just a great environment and a great time, and I super hope I get to go back next year because it was just a blast. And like I said, just wanted to share my thoughts with you since I know that since wanted to share my thoughts with you, I'm just going to leave that in since I know I probably won't get a video out, but a lot of people wanted me to talk about it. Thank you all for all of your support. Thank you to anybody who came out, shook my hand, mentioned my OBS videos or any other videos, and had me sign something or sign my thing or got pictures with me or whatever. By the way, if you did get a picture with me, there's still some I'm missing. Do send them my way. I just want to kind of keep them for good measure. And yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks so much for your support, helping me get to this point. I wouldn't have believed when I really switched over to tech content back in like 2014 that the channels I was watching, like Paul's Hardware and LTT and things like that, like I would go be at an event like in the ranks of them. It's just bonkers, and I'm super grateful, and there's so much more that I just can't express that I have felt this weekend, and pretty great. And yes, I did get some LTT merch underwear. I'll be wearing them. Bye-bye.